Let me introduce myself. My name is Véronique Lafont-Vinet. I am a faculty in the finance department, and I am the co-director of this new Bachelor in Sustainable and Green Finance. Attending with me is the co-director, Professor Jimmy Fong, from our Mathematics Department and Division of the Environment, Mr. Miles Ng, who is our program's assistant manager, and Ms. Esha Mabubani, who is our current HKUST student and is helping us part-time with the program. So we're going to walk you through a few slides, but please feel free to ask questions at any time. You can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat box. And after I finish with the slides, we will also have a interactive Q&A discussion. So let me start with the presentation first. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing this all the time. Okay. So what is happening? Well, just recently in the South China Morning Post, there was a headline saying there is a war for talent in Hong Kong. What is this about? Well, there has been a lot of initiatives that have taken place in finance and in financial markets, where regulators and the industry have made a lot of progress in taking into account risks related to changes in environment, but also changes in terms of social impact and governance. And to respond to those changes, well, we need people who understand both the business side and the environmental, social, and governance aspects of this very important transition. So there is a lot of pressure on financial institutions, on corporations, on regulators, and the government to find talent that has this mix of knowledge and skills in business, finance, sustainability, environment. And so we at HKUST have come up with a response. And the response is the Bachelor in Sustainable and Green Finance. So this is a new program who you can see Jimmy and I here, joined by our Dean, Karyan Tam, is a Dean of the Business School, and Professor Alexis Lau, he is the head of the Division of Environment. As you can see from this picture, this is a program that is pluridisciplinary. It is offered jointly by the Business School and the Division of Environment and Sustainability. So why do we need this new degree? Why not just go ahead with our finance program? Well, because there is a huge market. And as I mentioned from the SCMP article, it is very clear that we need people who have both the fundamental business knowledge and the environmental and sustainability skills that are needed in this new world. Because in the new world, we are going to have sustainability at the core of the economy, not just because we want to do good, but because we need to address the risks that are arising out of all these very, very important changes. There is currently no other undergraduate degree in Asia that provides this combination of skills, knowledge, and expertise. Now, the article in the SCMP was not the only one to point out the need. There was recently a report published by the Financial Services Development Council, which also pointed out the need for grooming talent in sustainable and green finance. So it's not just us, it's the government, it's the industry that are calling for all of us to work together to groom the talent that the market needs. So what makes us different? Well, we are an integrated program that combines the strong business and finance curriculum that we are famous for at the business school with the expertise that the Division of Sustainability and Environment is bringing to the fore. So it is both more than a finance degree and more than an environmental management degree. Our students will have the same core basic finance knowledge and skills as our BBA Finance and our BSc in Quantitative Finance, but they will also have environmental and sustainability skills and knowledge, which is provided by our Division of Environment and Sustainability. Pursuing this business degree in sustainability and green finance is different than a business major with a minor in environmental sustainability and management, because that minor is an engineering program, and the courses that are taught in that minor are how to use technology to solve environmental problems like air quality, surface and groundwater resources, water and solid waste treatment and utilization. So we are very strongly a pluridisciplinary degree, which is a brand new offering from the school and the division. So what does it mean to be a joint program? Actually, this is something that HKUST is providing more and more in response to the very real needs in the industry. That means we are combining the strengths of two very strong players. The HKUST Business School is well known in Asia and around the world as being a premier business school. And our Division of Environment and Sustainability has established its expertise in the domain of environment and sustainability over the past 10 years, Jimmy, something like that. We have remarkable faculty on both sides. And that means we can draw from experts in finance to teach the finance courses, and experts from environment and sustainability division to teach environmental courses. So we are combining the best of the best. Both the school and the division will also provide support to our students. So we pride ourselves in helping our students through every aspect of their university life. And maybe Aisha later can share with you a little bit about her experience as a student in our business school. So the students in our program will benefit from the services of both the business school and the Division of Environment and Sustainability. So why should you choose HKUST? Well, clearly, if you're interested in sustainable and green finance, we are the only choice because we are the first to offer this degree. Besides that, we are the top business school in Asia, according to all the rankings that I've been able to see. We also have a lot of strengths in terms of connection with the industry. This program has an advisory committee that is comprised of leading specialists in sustainable and green finance, some of which are also our alumni. We at the business school have an advisory council of prominent leading businessmen and women in Hong Kong and Asia. And this advisory council has strongly supported the launch of the degree. Besides our advisory committee and the advisory council, we also have a vibrant alumni community. a lot of whom are increasingly joining the sustainable and green finance industry. So we will be counting on the support from our alumni who've already sent a lot of messages of support and proposing to get involved with us to connect our students with the industry through a variety of opportunities, from mentoring to workshop to speaker series to projects. We will be connecting our students to the industry. We also have, because we are an academic institution, we also have world-class research. And in fact, our school was awarded a Hong Kong government theme-based research scheme funding for our project entitled Developing Hong Kong as a Global Green Finance Center. This is a sizable funding that will allow us to develop academic research, applied research, case studies, and a lot of other initiatives to be at the forefront of the sustainable and green finance industry in Hong Kong. So maybe I can share with you the reaction from a number of leading business people in Hong Kong to why we are launching these initiatives.
Green finance is not just about the present, but for the future, riding on our general concern about the long-term well-being of the earth.
Green finance is important, not just for Hong Kong, but for the world. And green finance is talking about how can we make better use of the financial system to promote the green and sustainable agenda.
Hong Kong has a unique position here because it's an open capital market and it has a connection with the global financial markets. So it can play a role of bringing financial resources globally to mainland China, to the Belt and Road.
We think that climate risk is the source of financial risk. So we need a change in mindset, that is, to manage risks arising out of climate change and also to capture opportunities.
We think this information platform will help issuers, investors, and policymakers to come together to discuss green finance.
Creating shared value is a proposition embraced by successful companies, enhancing value for all stakeholders, not only shareholders, but also the local environment and its community.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut her off? All right. So this is just some of the leading business people sharing their opinion on why they think that green finance matters. Now, we also had a lot of messages from finance specialists, such as Javier Carvalho, who is a managing director at Crédit Agricole CNIB on the debt capital market side. Mayank Kaur, who's a managing director at Citibank in charge of real estate risk. YK Park, who is the head of APAC Responsible Investment and Governance for a large buy-side firm called APG Asset Management. From Dennis Wu, who is the CEO of AC Capital Group and also an active member of the Hong Kong Green Finance Association. And I'll pause to mention that HKUST is the only business school that is a member from the start of the Hong Kong Green Finance Association, and an association that has pulled together academics, industry people, government and regulators to come up with recommendations and policy ideas for the Hong Kong government to move forward in establishing Hong Kong as a green finance center. From the corporate side, we had strong encouragement from Jean Ng. She is chair of Hong Kong Institute of Qualified Environment Professionals, but also she works with CLP, one of our 2 utility companies here in Hong Kong. Denise is working at the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, which is part of the World Bank Group. She is one of our alumni, and she is also chair of the Executive Committee of Green and Social Bonds Principles at the ICMA. Janet is at JP Morgan on the asset management side. She's also one of our alumni. So you can see that we already have a number of alumni in the field, and they stand ready to help us connect you with the industry. Lawrence Lee is the chairman of the FSDC, which has come up with this recent study on the need for Hong Kong to develop talent in fintech and sustainable and green finance. This is a 2-pronged approach for talent development in Hong Kong. And also a lot of associations and institutions like the Hong Kong Securities and Investment Institute. This is a very important organization in Hong Kong because if you want to work in the finance industry, you need to get a license, and the HKSI is the body that helps administer the licensing process. They are the ones who organize the licensing examinations, and we have a close relationship with HKSI. The regulators, as you could see in the video, have also expressed extremely strong support for our initiatives. Here you have a quote from Ashley Alder of the SFC and Eddie Yu of the HKMA. And last but not least, we have a short video from Kam Sing Wong, the Secretary for the Environment.
應對氣候變化嘅危機，支持可持續發展。綠色低碳轉型係全球大勢所趨。近年，各地相繼宣布邁向碳中和嘅氣候行動。2020年嚟，香港亦都宣布咗力爭2050年前實現碳中和嘅目標。力爭碳中和嘅氣候行動過程充滿挑戰。但係危中有機，當中需要跨界別創新協作，各行各業要加快綠色低碳轉型，包括強化 ESG 策略。而香港作為國際金融中心，喺綠色經濟、綠色金融方面充滿機遇，歡迎有志者投身，發揮所長。我樂見香港科技大學籌辦本港首個可持續發展與綠色金融理學士學位，培訓社會轉型當中所需嘅人才，以具備跨商業、財務、環境、科學同技術等實踐。我配合香港發展成為領先嘅國際綠色金融中心，協助推動社會環保低碳項目嘅融資，為香港以及共同嘅願景，支持邁向碳中和，機遇當前。
All right. So there are a few more slides related to the curriculum and the admissions, but these slides are already included in the pre-recorded video about the program, and I'd rather we have a more interactive discussion. So I'm going to stop the presentation here, and I'll ask Jimmy and Miles to join me in answering questions that you may have about the program, the admission process, the student experience, anything you want to ask about. Anybody want to ask any questions? I promise I don't bite. I'm actually a nice person.
Yes, you are. Student, if you have any question about this program or the school life in the HKUST, please feel free to unmute yourself, and then you can ask us any question about this program. Don't be shy. Or you can type your question in the chat box so we can see the question.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
I would like to ask which subjects are you going to multiply by a factor of 2 or 1.5 so that I could know whether I have an advantage over other candidates? Thank you.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure I understand your question, Patsy.
Okay, so this one I can help to answer. Okay, so this sustainable and green finance degree, obviously they require quite a bit of quantitative skills. So mathematics is one of the subjects. They probably will pay more weight on it. Yeah, we have not exactly decided the weighting yet, but certainly mathematics would be one of the subjects we probably will pay a little bit more weight, such as multiply it by 2, yeah, on the total score. I hope that answers your questions.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Because there was a question about the IB requirements for the program. They are very similar to the ones for our other finance programs. So if you want, I can share the screen. Okay. So for the program-based admission, we need high-level math or standard math. Okay, and then there is an indicative grade from IB. Miles, you want to share that information? I have something around. What's the indicative
IB score?
Yeah, IB score.
So I would expect is about 38.
38, right?
Yeah.
Okay, does that answer your question? Whoever asked that question? Okay.
As I say earlier, so if you look at the IB requirement, it's mainly just on mathematics, as you expected, because quantitative finance would require quite a bit of quantitative skill.
Okay, so career prospects. So that's a great question. And in fact, I was just looking at some of the profiles. So we did a little bit of search with Esha on some of the jobs in the industry. For example, ESG analyst. So banks like Bank Vontobel, institutions like Bloomberg are currently looking for ESG analysts in Hong Kong. AEC Capital is also looking for a green finance and investment analyst. On the banking side, so in the industry, there is this what we call the buy side, which is the asset management part or the investment part. And there is the sell side, which is the investment banks and banks that help clients raise money in the market. So on the buy side, the asset management side, they are looking for people who can integrate ESG into the investment process. On the sell side, they are looking for people who can work on green bonds, sustainability-linked bonds, sustainability-linked loans, and this kind of transaction. So for example, UBS was recently looking for a banker with sustainability expertise. BNP Paribas was looking for an associate in sustainable capital markets. Standard Chartered was looking for an associate on sustainable finance. HSBC was looking for sustainable finance director. These are all from ads, job ads that Esha was able to identify just in the last couple of weeks. On the insurance side, today there was an ad that I saw on LinkedIn at Marsh McLennan. This is one of the two biggest insurance brokers worldwide, and they were looking for a director of climate and sustainability in Paris. So there are many, many different areas you can go. This is just from the finance industry. There's also jobs in the consulting industry, because needless to say, consultants like McKinsey, like BCG, they are also advising corporations on how to manage their sustainability and green risks in their strategy. So there is a lot of demand for consulting in ESG. From the corporation themselves, they are looking at how to deal with the new requirements that are being imposed by regulators such as the SFC, but also Hong Kong Exchange, with the need to disclose risks that the corporations are facing as a result of climate change. So there are many, many job opportunities, and I'm so glad you asked me the question, because that's exactly what we're trying to do. Let me see. Career prospects. So career paths, it's going to be really up to you. So this program provides you with both the finance and the environmental and sustainability expertise. What you choose to do with it is really up to you. The wonderful thing is you have a choice. Okay. Let me see what else. Okay, any other questions? I don't see any other. Can you? How many marks would you expect for DSE students to join the program?
So this is the DSE scores they are asking, referring to. I would expect would be similar to the BBA Finance.
That's right.
Yeah. So Miles, do you know what the BBA Finance DSE score requirement?
I'm seeing per subject level 5 in 6 subjects.
Well, so which one?
Mine's, this is from Jessica. She was.
Yes, Veronique, this is Winnie.
Hi.
Hi, I can provide some information here.
Okay.
The finance HKDSE average score is per subject average is about 5.
Is that what you wanted? I pushed the, yeah.
It is not stated here, but according to last year's intake, we expect students need to have an per subject average score of 5 or above to enter this program. Yes.
Can anyone hear me? Yeah, this is Jessica here. I'm sorry, I can't really turn on my camera because I'm on my laptop. So Raymond just put a link in the chat box. Attendees, you may refer to that link for the program score of the BBA Finance program, because the Sustainable and Green Finance program is a new program, but we expect the program score will be similar to our existing BBA Finance program. In that link, you can also find the scoring formula. So just like what Jimmy has said, we will multiply the math and also the English subject as well. Make sure you are aware of the entrance requirement of business school. We require 1 level higher than the university in English and math too. Thank you.
There's a question from Michelle about does HKUST require ACTs? I don't think we do.
Okay, for students who take SATs, I believe you are from the US curriculum, then that's what the SAT is for. If you are taking that curriculum, we do require SAT reasoning test plus 3 SAT or AP subjects. So that would be the minimum entrance requirement. If you wish to get a sense of the boundary score of the SAT qualification, Raymond, please help put the link in the chat box so that the attendees can check the latest requirement. Yeah.
All right. There was a young person who asked, may I know, is it possible to do double major or taking any minor? So the program is already pretty heavy duty. So it is possible to do a minor. The double major, I think, would be pretty hard unless you can get equivalencies. Jimmy, you want to chip in on that?
Well, it is as you pointed out, to some extent the current degrees is already similar to a double major already, right? You have finance and sustainable and finance. But if the students are really doing well, I mean, HKUST does have mechanism allow students to pursue another degree in, say, in engineering or in science. So there's a mechanism is certainly allowed. In terms of minor, is also a lot of the students taking one minor, or some of them even taking 2 or 3. So certainly all these things is already in place in HKUST. And because our curriculum design is very much like a US system, so the student can overload their credit and taking extra courses. No problem of that.
So we had another question from Michelle about great mathematical or particular skills to join the program. So we recommend that you have a strong foundation in math. So you don't need to be as exceptional as Professor Jimmy, but you do need to have a good foundation because a lot of the courses are quite quantitative. So if you're not good in math, then you would probably struggle for our program. Jimmy, you want to complement that, add anything?
Yes, strong quantitative skill is certainly a big advantage. So I would expect any student have done M1, M2, getting 5 or 5-star above should be able to comfortably doing this degree quite well.
So we have a question from a student that asking the difference between QFIN and this program. So I love that question because I've been very much involved with our QFIN students for since the program was launched. So they are two very different programs. So both QFIN and SGFN have a very strong foundation in finance, but the QFIN program is more very quant. So the idea is to combine computer science, finance, and probabilities. Now, if you look at the curriculum for QFIN, it's got those 3 parts. And the students in that program are quants. So SGFN is less quant, but we have sustainability and environment. So you'll have the same foundation as BBA Finance and QFIN, but instead of providing you extra computer science, we provide you with a very strong foundation in environmental and sustainability. Does that answer your question? I hope it does. Okay. Other questions, please keep them coming. I love your questions. Oh, wonderful. More questions. You can ask questions to Esha. So she's not a student of the program because we haven't launched it yet. We're in the process of launching it, but She's been with HKUST. She's my student, good student, I should say. And so she can share about her experience with our school.
Can I ask Esha a question, because you are a business school student in HKUST, and as I heard so many students said HKUST is very harsh. Do you think in this way? How is your study? What do you feel?
I don't think it's harsh. I mean, some classes might be difficult, but the teacher support and the professor support at UST is amazing. You can ask them any questions you want in class, out of class, and I genuinely love being at the business school, but I also love that competitive nature. So I would recommend it.
Very good.
So Veroni and Jamie, can I ask a question on behalf of the students? Well, I think because the program require interview, it's a compulsory admission interview. So this is a finance program, and then we also have the expertise from the environmental science. Well, in the interview, what kind of qualities, you are looking for? What kind of students do you think that they are suitable for the SGFN program? Do they have to be very strong in environmental science, biology in their high school subject, or they have to be very strong in math or like finance, like that? So what kind of qualities that you are looking for?
Well, I'll give you my point of view, and then Jimmy can give you his point of view, because we're co-directors of the program. So, and I'm also a former banker, so I look at it really as a practitioner. I've been in sustainability also for over 12 years. The kind of students, so bear in mind, this is a small program. So we're looking for a small number of exceptional students that will be the core of our SGFN family. So I look at it kind of the way I look at my QFIN students. I call them my QFIN babies, so SGFN babies. I am looking for a solid foundation in mathematics. Science like biology or chemistry or physics is a plus, but not a requirement. I also am looking for people who are interested in the topic. You have to have the motivation, because it's a pioneer program. So we are looking for people who are passionate about the environment and green finance, and who believe in it. And I am fundamentally enthusiastic about it, because I really think that we need to address this from a business perspective and integrate it in the way we do business and the way we do finance. As it's a small intake, it's a small group of students. We're looking for people who are going to get invested, who are going to participate, who are going to join activities, the extracurricular programs, and basically want to be here. So the soft skill part is also important to me. Jimmy, what do you think?
Yeah, I would expect I will looking for similar sort of attribute of those skills. In particular, people see the urgency of this climate crisis. In order to solve this issue, we need finance people with a heart in environment, actually how to come up financially solving these climate issues, because all the technology is there, but how are we going to finance it? Be it a green bond, be it a green derivative, so on and so forth. So we do need to have people have the finance skill as well as environmental sustainability. Okay, to be a responsible investor is the type of people we are looking for.
And of course, we understand that you are young students, so you don't know all of it, but we will train you, don't worry. We got a great question on overseas exchange opportunities. So yes, we do. The business school provides an amazing choice of exchange opportunities. They're not specifically related to this program, but you may be aware that in Europe in particular, there are many, many schools that provide degrees in sustainability. So we plan to provide our students with the exchange partnerships available from the school and from the Division of Environment and Sustainability.
Well, I have received a question from student that will I be less competitive than finance student or qualified student or other environmental science student because some of the credits go to the other area? So program director. What
So
do you think?
they are worried about being less competitive than the quantitative finance babies?
Yeah.
No, that is silly. That is completely silly. Plus, I'm in charge with Jimmy, so of course you're going to be competitive. No problem.
No problem at all. I don't think you're being less competitive because, there's so many jobs is out there. I mean, we are just haven't got enough talent to fill the available posts out in the real world. So it's not a matter of competitiveness here. It's just if you're being trained well, and there's got plenty of opportunity, job opportunity waiting for you to grab. Now another student asked specific to Veronica, she did or he or she did a geography, econ, and calculus and extended math. Would it be enough background to do this? This degree? This is virtually is a perfect combination, right?
Yeah, I like it. I like it very much.
I think you definitely have.
You should apply.
Yeah, you should apply, definitely. I encourage you to apply.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions?
Keep them coming. We love your questions.
And I have a question. Because I think some students may have a question that whether the sustainable and green finance program is similar to a student who take the BBA finance and then minor in environmental management.
No, I pointed it out in the presentation before. So if you do a BBA finance and the minor in environmental management is actually an engineering degree that looks at technology. Actually, Jimmy can talk about that because it's...
Yeah, because actually when we design this degree, we have come up with 4 new courses specifically to train people with strong background in finance and such as circular economy and life cycle analysis, governance in green finance, as well as environmental sustainability and social sustainability. So these are the 4 core courses specifically designed for this degree, and it's not available for people taking environmental minors degree. So it's a very different emphasis. We are training this group of students. Any others?
So for those of you who are worried about careers, really don't be, because every day I'm getting messages on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm a former banker. I'm also the executive director for careers at the business school. So I know a little bit what I'm talking about. And we get requests all the time. So actually, this initiative is very much in response to a need that has been identified in the industry. And Jimmy and I and many colleagues have been working for the past year, because sustainable finance is a huge initiative for the business school.
Actually, a lot of the people in the industry contacting us saying, you know, they have no difficulty to looking people good at finance. Okay, because it's plenty of you know, train a lot of degree. All 7 universities have a finance degree, but they have difficulty to looking for people have finance background, but with a strong background in ESG, sustainable finance. So that's certainly, if you are being trained, as you pointed out, each year we are only training about 30-something students. I don't really see you have problem at all to looking for jobs.
Any questions you want to ask? Lots of career.
So we are certainly expect to seeing every one of you apply to our program, and we hope to meet every single one of you during the interview, and then we can see your real face. You can see us, and at the moment we cannot see you.
So Shimon was asking about career prospects. So I've talked about it. I've mentioned quite a few examples of current job advertisements that I've seen in LinkedIn and Esha found in various job platforms. And as I mentioned, there are needs both from the banking side, the insurance side, the asset management side, in terms of people who have both finance skill and can analyze sustainability and ESG risks. In addition, on the consulting side, for big consulting firms are all looking for people. But let's not forget that these skills are not just going to one type of institution. Those finance skill and sustainability skills are also needed in the government, in regulators, in corporations, besides the finance institution. So I understand, you know, finance pays better than the civil servants, but these are jobs everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. We have 10 minutes left. You're very welcome, Shimon. We have 10 minutes left. Do you have any more questions for us? Anything? We're quite happy to answer your questions.
Veronica, maybe I think some students may wonder whether this SGFN program will bring them a professional qualification, something like CFA and stuff like this.
So right now it doesn't exist. Okay, there is no equivalent to CFA for finance or CPA for accounting. There are a number of certifications. So increasingly you have professional bodies like CFA, like GARP, that are doing certifications. But there is no comprehensive professional qualification. We have a close relationship with the CFA Institute, with the International Capital Markets Association, with the Hong Kong Securities Institute, and we will be working alongside them to ensure that our students can have a pathway to take those professional certifications. When applying, one needs to have a personal statement, an interview, and a transcript of previous grades. So interview is a required part of the admissions process. Winnie, is there anything beyond the statement, the interview, and the transcript that the students need?
He's asking from the JUPAS.
Michelle, are you JUPAS? What are you?
I think she's asking from IB.
Oh, IB. Okay. Okay. Personal statement, transcript of the past 2 years, and we need to have references from your high school counselors as well as predicted grade from your high school. So make sure that they send in those information early. Yeah.
Oh, so there's an interesting question here, Jimmy. Please help me answer it.
Well, as I pointed out, we
So the question from Kenneth.
Yeah, if the student interested, well, one student from Keith, if the student are genuinely interested in geography and environmental science, by all means do it. I mean, but it's not a must. It's not a must. We are comprehensively looking at the student's whole performance, not specifically on a particular subject, other than the two we mentioned earlier, English and mathematics.
But I have to say, I love geography and environmental science. Welcome. Any other questions?
So it's a little bit like you even joining the econ department does not require you to have done an econ in either in IB or in in the DSE exam. I mean, it's not a must.
Any other questions for us? You can see that Esha is not stressed and tense. Okay. She's very relaxed and smiling.
Yeah, you can ask live in HKUST, whole life, and all kinds of questions.
Oh, I love that question, Junqing. When can we start applying for this program? Now, please apply.
Veronique, assuming that if they are non-JUPAS applicants, they are direct admission applicants, our application platform will open on Monday. So make sure that you go to that platform and do the online application.
Yeah, I personally, we will start doing interviews sometime as early as, I don't know, end of November, December time scale. Yeah.
Winnie will tell us when we start interviewing.
Yeah.
Yes, if you are applying for the direct admission early round, we probably will have the interview around early to mid-December, probably early December. Yeah, and for the main round, probably we'll have interviews from January to March. Yes. If it's JUPAS applicants, the interview will be arranged in late May or early to mid-June. Mm-hmm.
Please tell your classmates. All right, we got 4 minutes to go, and maybe you want to attend some of the other sessions, so feel free to ask any questions. If you don't have time to ask them now, I'm sure there is a way that you can ask them of my colleagues in the admissions team, or you can also, where is it? We have a website, and Miles stands ready to answer any question that you send to him. He's a very nice guy, so don't worry. Plus he speaks Cantonese, which I don't. How would you compare between environment and sustainable and green finance? Good, Jimmy, that one's for you.
Well, yet again, this is a two very different degree. UAMT is we train students doing environmental management. Most of them probably will not be able to work in the finance sector. Although we we do have some students when they are, doing minor in business, some of them do work in ESG sectors, but not on the finance sectors. So this is the training is somewhat quite different. They do not have the finance background at all. Yeah, they have the ESG background, but they not the finance background. Yeah.
So, Winnie, there's a question in the chat about the
School of Science of GSAT. This is the Taiwanese qualification. I would say similar to the other programs. I probably think you will look at the math scores rather than the science scores. We may not need to specify science as a required score to look at.
And I believe this session has been recorded and will be available. Is that right, Miles?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are recording this live session, and then our admission team will put this online so that people can review this live session.
Yes, and if you have any questions, admission related, you can always email us. The account is bmadmit@ust.hk. We'll reply all your questions there. If you have program specific inquiries, you can always email Miles or Jimmy and Veronique for more details about the programs.
Absolutely.